Hello, guys, and welcome to another episode. And in today's episode, we're going to be talking about. I just totally gleeked. I don't know if y'all saw that on camera. I ain't editing it out, but I totally did it. With the today's episode, and I think this is number 40. We're on episode 40, and today is going to be about your email list. Now, I wrote a blog post that I'm going to send you guys over to as well because in this particular post, I not only give you the 7 tips, I also give you three more tips that I got last night off of a webinar by hosted by a lady named Diane Hockman, and it was an extremely informative webinar. And if you don't know how to cash in on your email list, I suggest you go over and look at this information because it is included in in today's post. But the information that I wanted to give you, the 7 tips that I wanted to give you guys today, it comes from a author by the name of HCF Grizzly. I don't know if y'all could hear my dog, but she over there scratching and her thing is making noise. But this particular gentleman wrote on a forum, and it's v7n.com forum, and I was having a few issues with not sending out the emails, but having people actually open the emails and read them. Like I'm putting all this information, doing some research, putting the content in emails, and no one's reading them. So I went out to try to find a way of what I was doing wrong to get my emails not, to be open because they weren't being open. So here are his 7 tips. The first one is he says, first of all, you need to have an email list you created. It is so important that you are emailing people who want to be emailed, who asked for your information, who opted into some type of form to get your information. If you're out here just buying lists and sending people emails, random people who don't know you from a can of paint, they're not opening your emails, and more than likely, they're going to blacklist your email address and your IP address. Then they won't get any emails from you at all. And having your IP address and email list blacklisted is no bueno. So, tip number 1, only send emails to people who have opted into a form and said that they want your information. Other than that, you might end up getting blacklisted. Tip number 2 is keep your subject line short. He recommends 40 to 50 characters in length. And the subject line is so important because it allows people to know what is in the email. So make sure that you keep it short, in between 40 to 50 characters, because you run the risk of, I don't know if you guys have seen this, but I'm guilty of doing it. I've seen other people do it. But when you have a long subject line, the email provider will cut it off at a certain point and they won't even see the entire subject line. So only put the most important information, or keep your subject line short. What I was leading to was tip number 3. Only put the most important information inside your subject line. When writing a subject line, you want to place the most important and compelling information in the subject line. So keep it short, but make it compelling. Tip number 3 is avoid using the subject line with the words free, credit, cash offer, or act now. These certain words and emails will get your email spam rate higher, and then it will probably send it to their spam folder. Thus, they're not going to see it anyway. So make sure that you're not using particular keywords that will, and here it is. If you have an autoresponder, which everyone should have an autoresponder, right? Everyone should have one. If you have a business and you capture emails, you need an autoresponder. But to the important thing about the subject line is that your autoresponder will, at least mine does. I use Aweber. When I'm doing an email, it has a box over on the side, or something on the side of the email when I'm about to send it out. When I'm sending it out, it has a spam counter, right? And in the spam counter, it'll tell you how much you are to becoming a spammer in an email. So you want to make sure if your autoresponder doesn't have one, you get an autoresponder that has one. Like I said, I suggest Aweber, and I don't know if like GetResponse and stuff have one, so I'm not dissing any other email autoresponder. I'm just familiar with Aweber. But again, Aweber has a spam calculator on it, so I'll know when I'm doing the email how close I am to ending up in the spam box. And I don't want that. I want my emails read. And if you're anything like me, my spam folder, I don't even open it. I just click on the little trash can box to delete any information, excuse me, any information that was in that folder. I don't want spam. I hate spam too. So I don't want my emails to end up in the spam folder. Number 5 is include a call to action. Action-orientated subject lines almost always get opened. So when you write in a subject line, make sure you're writing it in an active voice that prompts the reader of the email to, one, open the email. An active voice will allow you to have them open in the email. So to get you a higher click-through rate, if you have an active voice of telling them what to do. A call to action is basically telling them what to do. You want them to do what next. So in your subject line, if you're writing it in an active voice, you're going to write it in a way that compels them to open the email, first of all. And then while in the body of it, give them another call to action and tell them what to do next. Number 6 is ask questions. I know for me personally, if someone is asking a question, if it's someone I subscribe to their list and they're asking a question, I'm more than likely to open the email because they asked a question, and especially a question that I was looking for an answer to. I'm going to open that email. I'm guaranteed to open that email. He says readers also respond well to questions in subject line. Think about your audience, what your audience need or is interested in. I just said that if I'm interested in, say, like real estate, and so I opted into someone who promotes real estate, I opted into their list, and they sent me something about how to lower my, do you want to lower your mortgage rate? I'm probably gonna, if I'm interested in lowering my mortgage rate, I'm probably going to more than likely click on that email and open it up. Right? And it's the same thing with your business. Identify what your target audience needs are and start doing call to actions in your subject line related to what their needs are. And number 7 is identify yourself. This is not so much for the subject line, but this is more so for when you're in the body of the email. If you guys are subscribers to my email, every single time that I end an email or a blog post, I always end it with "to your success." Or to your success, Jovan Marie. That's my tagline. I use that to identify myself. So when you're on my email list, when you get an email from me, 9.5 times out of 10, that is what's at the end of my email. So those people know, even if for some strange reason, my email goes out to someone and they might not necessarily particularly know it was me. For whatever reason, they opted into my form and didn't know who I was. They'll get to know who I am by my tagline because I'm identifying myself every single time in an email. Well, 9.5 times out of 10, I will identify myself in an email. It makes it so much simpler when you have an autoresponder, though, because you can have a signature line in the autoresponder. I have a signature line in mine, so that way, even if I forget sometimes to do it, it's right there, automatically put in for me. So his tip was identify yourself. Don't forget about the from line. This is just as important as your subject line. Again, keep it simple and identify yourself to your readers, and that way, again, they know exactly who you are. You can start to try to build some type of relationship with your email contact list because they can identify who you are. Again, the people on my list identify me when they open an email because I always put "to your success, Jovan Marie." I'm always identifying who these emails are coming from. Okay, so then that is my 7 tips, and I'll recap them really quick. First of all, you want to make sure that you're sending emails that you created, an email list to an email list that you created. They asked you for the information, and now they're on your list. Second, keep your subject line short, 40 to 50 characters at the most. Number three, put important information in the subject line. Important information. Number four, avoid using subject lines with the word free, cash, offer, act now, etc. Number five, include a call to action. And six, ask questions. And seven, make sure you identify yourself and who you are. So those are the 7 tips that I took away from that particular forum that I want to give out to you guys. And also in the post at the bottom of this post, there is actually some information that I took away from a webinar with Diane Hockman last night, and it is about the same information, but she gets more in detail with how to cash in or turn your email list into a cash machine. This webinar, she rocked it. It was very informative, and for those people who, if you don't have a list of 10,000 people, it doesn't matter. You can have a small list. To her, a small list was 4,500 people. To Diane, as a small in the reaction of some of the other people yesterday when she was saying it was like, oh my gosh, she has such a small list. But to me, a small list would be well under 4,500 people. But in this particular, in our network marketing niche, 4,500 people on the list is really small. But go out there, you guys, and create your list. She in this webinar again, she gave out some nuggets, and she dropped the bombshell. So I'll give in the post underneath this particular video, I go ahead and drop some of the nuggets that I learned from her last night. So continue to go ahead and read the post, and I will see you guys on another episode. Bye.